Do you really think sugar is just the villain behind weight gain? Forget that nonsense. The real punch lands straight in your brain. Every bite is a hit that wrecks your neurotransmitters, throws your dopamine off balance, and turns you into a puppet, desperately craving more sugary foods. It's a blatant betrayal, a poison that steals your control and traps you in a brutal cycle of dependency. While you're chasing that illusion of momentary pleasure, sugar is working as the master manipulator, feeding a reward system that makes you forget what truly matters. It seeps into your behavior, shaping an addiction so subtle that you lose sight of the value of balanced meals. And this raw truth has never been laid out so clearly. Your brain is being hijacked, and you haven't even noticed the hit. Not everything that sweetens your mouth comes with a warning label, right? But sugar, oh, sugar is sneaky. When it steps onto the stage, whether in a glass of soda or an innocent-looking piece of bread, what happens inside your head is no small deal. The taste receptors on your tongue fire signals straight to the brain like they're shouting, "Hey, something really good is going on here." And the cerebral cortex listens and responds intensely. This sensory circuit is so efficient, it almost feels like magic. One sip of juice, and within seconds, you feel that mental boost. But there's no magic here. It's neuroscience. The brain isn't just recognizing the sweet taste. It's activating areas tied to memory, attention, even mood. It's as if that tiny piece of chocolate had a VIP badge that lets it wander backstage through the nervous system. And it doesn't take a fancy dessert to trigger this effect. Even morning cereal or a store-bought sauce can sound the same neural alarm. That's because glucose and fructose, two forms of sugar, are everywhere. And every time they pass through those receptors, they leave traces. Traces your brain learns to follow. And that's where things get even more interesting, because sugar doesn't act alone. It calls in reinforcements. Now picture this. You take the first bite of something super sweet, maybe a brigadeiro or your favorite ice cream. That wave of pleasure hits almost instantly, right? That's no coincidence. Sugar doesn't just light up your taste buds. It goes straight for the target. It activates your brain's reward system, a powerful engine fueled by dopamine. And dopamine, my friend, is like a chemical like button. It makes you want to do it again, and again, and again. The brain, clever as ever, takes this signal as a message. This feels good. Do more of it. And just like that, the cycle begins. You feel pleasure, your brain records it, and the next day, guess what? Your body's already asking for the next sweet fix. It's as if one tiny candy had the power to press an inner button that makes you crave more of the same. A reward button, sure, but also a button for automated eating behavior. And here's where it gets dangerous. Unlike something like a walk or a workout, which also releases dopamine, sugar delivers a fast, intense hit with zero effort. It's like getting a reward without earning it. You didn't have to hunt, run, or achieve anything. Just open a cupboard and chew. That's exactly why your brain learns to love sugar so much. But what starts as pleasure becomes a habit, and the habit becomes a need. And once that need turns into routine, the next chapter is usually a little less sweet. There comes a point when sugar just doesn't hit the same anymore. That bite that once made you sigh now just checks a box. Why? Because the brain, smart and highly adaptable, starts to build tolerance. In other words, it needs more stimulation to release the same amount of dopamine. And that's when many people find themselves quietly trapped in a cycle of addiction, increasing the dose, not for the taste, but for a feeling that no longer comes so easily. This is the same effect seen with drugs and other substances that mess with neurotransmitters. The person isn't hungry. They're chasing that fleeting rush of pleasure, comfort, or relief. A little stress becomes a reason to open the fridge. A single disappointment turns into 3 slices of cake. Eating behavior stops being about need and starts being driven by a desperate attempt to reignite a chemical high that's no longer easy to find. And here's the thing, balanced meals, veggies, proteins, grains do bring pleasure. But it's calmer, steadier. Sugary foods, on the other hand, deliver a fast, loud blast of stimulation, like they're screaming, "Look at me." That's why people who consume too much sugar start finding regular food bland. The taste buds become addicted to extremes. And when the body gets used to that overload, any attempt to change feels like a battle. But that doesn't mean it's impossible. Quick, broccoli or sweets? If you answered sweets, congrats. Your brain is working exactly the way it was programmed to. Unlike natural foods, sugar directly hijacks the reward system, releasing dopamine like a shot of instant pleasure. That's what makes it so addictive. It doesn't just feed you, it rewards you. Healthy foods might nourish, but they don't cause that explosive surge in neurotransmitters. That's why the comparison is unfair. Sugar plays with a massive advantage. While broccoli delivers nutrition, sugar delivers emotional comfort. And it's in that subtle difference that danger lies. Because the body starts to confuse nutrition with emotional relief. Eating sugar isn't the problem. The problem is needing it all the time. A slice of cake at a birthday, a dessert on the weekend, that's fine. The body even welcomes small pleasures when they come with awareness. What throws everything off balance is when sugar becomes a routine disguised as a reward. The secret lies in taking back control of your eating behavior. Try swapping your daily sugar hit for a ripe fruit, a piece of 70% dark chocolate, or even a homemade dessert made with fewer processed ingredients. Over time, your taste receptors begin to respond with less intensity and more balance. And what once seemed impossible, like turning down a sweet, starts to feel completely natural. Now that you understand how sugar hijacks your brain, the question is simple. Will you keep feeding the addiction or start reclaiming control over your mind? Will you stay a prisoner to cheap pleasure that wrecks your dopamine? Or choose a path that strengthens your clarity, energy, and emotional freedom? How many times have you felt tired, irritated, or anxious without knowing why? Could it be your reward system, hooked on artificial stimulation, leaving you weaker and more unstable by the day? What can you do today to break the cycle? Start with one simple shift. Less sugar, more presence. Less impulse, more intention. It's time to act. If this content shook something inside you, if it made you see things differently, then hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Because here, you'll learn how to take your mind back, one decision at a time.